Now, when I think about basketball games from the early 2000s, there's always one game that stands out: NBA Street Volume 2. It wasn't just a basketball game, it was an experience. I'm talking about a perfect mix of hip hop, attitude, and over the top fun. This was a time before everything was online, before live service games and constant updates. Back then, you brought a game, popped it in, and just played for hours. In NBA Street Volume 2, man, that game hit different. If you grew up in that era, you probably remembered that intro, that deep voice saying,
EA Sports.
And then the beat drops, the camera pans over the court, and then you're hyped. It felt like the start of something special. Before Volume 2, EA Sports Big had already made a name for itself with titles like SXX and Def Jam Vendetta. They specialized in sports games with personality, wild tricks, larger-than-life characters, and music that slapped. The first NBA Street came out in 2001. It broke away from the serious tone of games like NBA 2K and Live. It wasn't about realism, it was about freedom. 3-on-3 basketball with no fouls, no rules, no limits. It gave players something new, a taste of street ball culture, and when NBA Street Volume 2 dropped in 2003, it didn't just continue that formula, it perfected it. I'm talking about better visuals, tighter gameplay, a deeper roster, and that soundtrack, that legendary early 2000s soundtrack. Now, I can't play any of that music because it may lead to a copyright strike, but just trust me. From the moment the game loaded, you could feel the soul in it. The menus had graffiti art, the music blended old school hip hop and smooth beats from artists like MC Lyte, Pete Rock, and Nelly. I mean, it wasn't just background noise, it was the heartbeat of the game. And speaking of Nelly, he was even an unlockable character in the game. The art style was bold and colorful, every character looked like they stepped out of a comic book, exaggerated but cool. And my man Allen Iverson had his trademark crossover, Shaq looked like a walking tank, and when you dunked, it wasn't just a dunk, it was a statement. It wasn't trying to copy the NBA, it was building its own world, one that felt raw, fun, and full of life. At its core, NBA Street Volume 2 was simple. 3-on-3 basketball, first to 21 points, no out of bounds, no fouls, no timeouts, just you, your squad, and pure skill. The game rewarded creativity. You didn't win by playing safe, you won by playing stylish. You pulled off trick dribbles, fancy passes, and insane alley-oops. Each move fills your game breaker meter, and when that meter was full, it was showtime. The screen would flash, the beat would drop, and your player would pull off a dunk so ridiculous it broke the laws of physics. And when that game breaker landed, it didn't just score points, it took away points from your opponent. It was the ultimate flex. And if that wasn't enough, you could store away your game breaker, build up your meter again, and pull off a level 2 game breaker that was even crazier. And playing with friends made it even better. I remember those after school sessions, me and my cousins huddled around the TV, talking trash, yelling every time someone got hit with a game breaker. Nobody cared about who won in the end. It was all about who looked the best doing it. Those were the moments that stick with you. They made you feel like a part of something bigger, a digital version of street culture. Volume 2 also had one of the best rosters ever. You had every NBA team from that time in the stars. Kobe, Iverson, Garnett, Shaq, T-Mac, all in their prime. But what made the game truly special was the addition of legends. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all playable. And not just one version of Jordan, you got 3. Rookie Jordan, Prime Bulls Jordan, and Wizards Jordan. No other game had done that before. Then there were the original street ball characters, names like Stretch, Bonafide, and Biggie Littles. They weren't real NBA players, but they had huge personalities. Stretch, with his tall frame and afro, became the face of the series. He looked like he came straight out of a 1970s basketball film, confident, flashy, and unstoppable. These characters gave Volume 2 its identity. They weren't just filler, they were the soul of the game. Now every great sports game needs that one mode that pulls you in. For NBA Street Volume 2, it was Be a Legend. You started as an unknown player that you would create. No reputation, no team, just dreams. You traveled from court to court, taking on local legends and NBA stars, trying to make a name for yourself. Each win earned you respect, new teammates, and better skills. It felt like climbing a ladder from playing on small neighborhood courts to going toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan himself. It was more than just a career mode. It was a journey, a story about proving yourself on the streets. I remember spending entire weekends in this mode, losing track of time, trying to unlock every character in every court. It was one of those rare games that made you feel proud of your progress. You didn't just play it, you lived it. Now back to that soundtrack, and let's be honest, NBA Street Volume 2 has one of the best gaming soundtracks in history. Classic hip hop mixed with 2000s energy. It had Pete Rock's They Reminisce Over You, MC Lyte's Ride With Me, and Nelly's Not in My House. Every beat matched the rhythm of the game. When you pulled off a dunk or a combo, the music made it feel like a highlight reel. It captured that perfect mix of basketball and hip hop that defined the era. Then you had the announcer Bobbito Garcia, aka Cucumber Slice, that kept you hyped with his callouts no matter if you were playing defense or offense.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an aversion to reading sometimes. But right now, you're looking like an open book that, like, even if I didn't like to read, I'd want to read because it's so inviting to steal the ball from you.
He was either commenting on your skills or straight up making fun of you. Volume 2 came out over 20 years ago, but it still lives in people's minds. It's often called one of the greatest basketball games ever made, and for good reason. It captures something most sports games forget: fun. It didn't try to be realistic. It didn't bury you in stats or online modes. It just made you feel good every time you picked up a controller. The visuals, the soundtrack, the gameplay, it all worked together like a perfect mixtape. It reminded you that basketball isn't just a sport, it's art, it's rhythm, it's timing, and it's style. Now, EA tried to keep the series alive with NBA Street Volume 3 and Home Court, but they never hit the same way. Maybe the world changed, maybe gaming did. I'm not sure, but Volume 2 hit a moment in time when gaming was pure, creative, and full of energy. Even now, fans are still begging for a remake. Reddit threads pop up every year asking EA to bring it back. Modders recreate it on PC, pirates emulate it on PC, and YouTubers make retrospectives. It's become a symbol of what we lost, that blend of culture, sports, and fun. And it's really easy to see why. In a world now where most sports games focus on microtransactions and realism, NBA Street Volume 2 feels like a time capsule. It reminds us why we fell in love with games in the first place. So if you ever find yourself wondering, what made the early 2000s gaming so special? Go back and look at NBA Street Volume 2, a game that turned basketball into art and made the streets legendary. Now for me, NBA Street Volume 2 is in my top 5 favorite games of all time, and I still play it to this day.